YouTube, it's your boy fplcommunity, and I'm back here with a brand new video. Today I've got for you my Game Week 25 team review, as well as my Game Week 26 team selection and the transfer plans. I'm also going to be looking at my potential chip strategy and see whether I stick with, Onslaught or maybe switch him out for a table bonus. So without further ado, let's dive in. So there you have it, another green arrow. Alhamdulillah, your boy has been having, constant green arrows now. Let's hope we can continue that trend. Overall, I've got 109 points. All rank was 2K. I've gained another 1K rank, which is very difficult to do in the top 10K actually. So now I'm 1K. I was around 800 something in the world before the Liverpool and Villa match. But unfortunately, Slot did disappoint once again and lost out to our fiercest enemy, let's just call it the other side, aka Moyes owners, who did switch from Moyes to Emery, which was the right thing to do, and they did get that table bonus. Although Emery did lose to Ipswich, and if you were to beat Ipswich, which was on paper you should have versus 10 man, I mean you're looking at another solid 22 something points or 24 points for Emery. Now, luckily for us, Emery only outscored us by I think 1 point this week, and then obviously you got Moyes last week. He outscored us by 7 points, so overall 8 point swing. It would have been even bigger if Gakpo was to be available and he was to get anything in either of those fixtures. I think the swing would have been maybe up to 14, 15, even 16 points. God knows how much. Now, luckily it went somewhat in our favor and I still managed to get a green arrow. But I think till now the chip has been okay. It's not a total disaster, not total failure. But for me, I'm taking it as an L because I lost to straight up, like the people I went up against head to head, around 8 to 12 points even. So it's an L. Now I gotta climb back up. Those who with Emery, they're chilling with 36 points. They've optimized it. They won with 2 underdog and they got 2 bonus. So they're chilling. I think now it's for me to, start using that table bonus to my advantage and start chase because I'm kind of behind the field. After 4 games, Slot only got what? 26 points or 25 points or 23 points. I'm not sure how much now. He's got 15 last week, 13 now. So that's like what, 28 points. That's not good enough. So I need to chase. I think the ceiling for an chip, I think best case scenario is 60 points if everything goes your way and you get that utilize that team bonus. Worst case scenario, like not the worst case, but at least if you wanted to call it somewhat success, is around 50 points, I think. Whereas if it's like 40 points, it's okay. Not very successful. Anything below that, I think it's kind of a flop. To be fair, it's one of the most powerful chips. You gotta utilize it. So listen, enough talk about Slot. Disappointed me. I'm so glad this chip, man. I hated rooting for Slot. Although I know for banter, I did say, like you never walk alone and all that shit. I'm sick and tired of that. I think morally this chip is wrong. I know when you have players from Liverpool and you want them to do well, but when they lose, it's not that deep because most people either have them or their EO is high, like Salah and Trent. With Slot, it's just wrong. Personally, I don't think I'm a big fan of that chip either. Although I think it's a good chip, like it's okay. I think maybe because of the outcome, I'm kind of upset how it went, but I think morally it's kind of wrong as well. Like you back a teammate, like that's your fierce rival. I'm not a big fan. So enough. Moving on. Overall, like the team absolutely smashed it. Like the reason why I'm not in a red arrow is because of the fact that like the differentials like Wood, Mateta. I'm calling the Wood a differential, but a lot of people sold him, and that's why his EO is quite low. Like his EO could have been easily 100 something. If people didn't sell him for Gakpo and your NDS and DCL and whatnot. So I'm glad those millions of people that sold him. So that's why his point does matter. I do gain around 35% of the managers in the top 10K. With Mateta, that's like insane. He's got like what 13.7% EO. That's nothing, to be fair. Like to get such a differential Mateta who's been scoring week in week out, it's amazing. Alhamdulillah for that. Obviously, my new transfer in, like I think it was 2 weeks ago, I bought in Clavert. He got an assist. To be honest, I expected more from him, but it is what it is. I don't think any other Bournemouth asset went that crazy. I think Otara scored, but he didn't get any bonus points. He only got 7 points, so the swing is not that crazy. And the Semenyo, I think he's only got 4 points as well. So Clivert, happy to own him. Palmer disappointed again, unfortunately. Chelsea are in a downhill trend right now. I'm not too keen on them, and I'm so glad I sold my Chelsea assets. And Palmer, I think the fixtures are too good to let him go now. I'm still going to give him that Leicester and Southampton game in 27 and 28, and then I'll reassess whether to keep him in 29. But for now, I think he's a keep for me, anyways. If you wanted to sell him to get the likes of Haaland, which he was injured now, I would have probably understand it, but he's injured. I think he's a keep if you have him. And then you got Salah. Fuck me, this guy, 204% EO. He's when he scores, it actually somewhat hurts my rank because a lot of people triple captain him this week. So was I happy that he got all the goals? Not really. I would have liked someone else to get the goals, like maybe Diaz or freaking Darwin, who's been shocking. And then speaking of Darwin, thanks to Darwin, the reason why Slot didn't win, by the way, he had open goal, open net. Basically, you could have tapped it in. He skied that shit. I don't know how that guy's a footballer. Darwin, you shouldn't be playing football, mate. This is not for you. Like, you should be fucking going and cleaning the grass over there, mate. Like, get the fuck out of here. How have they paid 100 million for him? And Hoyland is another bum. Darwin is the bigger bum. It's just absolute bums. Just ruin my freaking game week. But since still green arrow, let's be positive. And then Trent, double game week. Trent finally delivered with a goal. High EO, but still they meant something. Like, they considered a goal, and they've considered 2 goals actually versus Villa. So the fact that he came in with a goal and some bonus points, it does help. When compared to the people that went with like Konate or Van Dijk or Alisson. So pretty pleased with that. My new transfer in Huijsen didn't deliver. Unfortunately, they considered a dumb goal. But it is 4.4 million. What do you expect? Hopefully, you'll get some returns. You've got good fixtures coming up. Gabriel, 6-pointer. Arsenal boys came up for me. Double Arsenal defense is a bit of a differential in the top 10k, as you guys can see, with Rare only 10% on. That's crazy. Gabriel, 45%. That's really good, to be honest. It's not too bad. So I'm glad Rare, and Gabriel kept the clean sheet. That also helped me, boost up my rank. Overall, really pleased with the game week. Nothing more to say. Now let's move on to my game week 26 transfer plan. So for game week 26, your boy is not bringing any player. For the first time, I'll actually be making a manager transfer. So there's quite a few options. I'll just dive into it now. First and foremost, you guys can see on the screen, I do have Slot out. That bum. My friend likes to call him Ten Hag's evil twin. Freaking Slot, fat version of freaking Ten Hag. That fraud needs to leave my team. He did not live up to the hype. I mean, he had 4 games and he only gave me, 25, 28 points? That's useless. Like, listen, just get the hell out of my team. Slot is gone. He's got City next. So I'll be selling Slot. I've got 1 free transfer. Glasner is one of the options. I know I put Glasner in. It's not, transfer is not done. It's not 100% confirmed. And I'll get into the reason why. There's another option which I also like, is McKinnon versus Spurs. They've already beaten Spurs at their crib 2-1 in the reverse fixture. And now they play at home. Although Ipswich are a bit more open and they do tend to be a bit more, I guess, careless at home and concede dumb goals. So I do like that as a punt, McKinnon versus Spurs. And then the last one I like is Pereira. However, there are some people also, giving shout out for Ruud van Nistelrooy. I'm not too keen on that. People's argument is the fact that Brentford's away form has been terrible, but Leicester has been even worse. So I don't like that too much. And then there's another one, which is Potter versus Arsenal, which I do think is a close goal. I think you can go either way, potentially a draw. There's a 2 bonus there. I just don't know if I see West Ham bidding Arsenal. Although I was eyeing that fixture up, for a while. But recently they just lost to Brentford. And I think they're missing a couple of key players as well. Paqueta is out. So I feel like they're going to get dominated in that midfield. That's why I'm a little bit less keen on that. But if someone were to go Potter, I don't hate it. But with Ruud, I'm not a big fan. As I said, for me, it's Glasner and McKinnon, 1 and 2, and Pereira, because, to be honest, Pereira, maybe not my third option. Maybe it's between Pereira and Potter. It's quite close. It's either Wolves or West Ham, but yeah. That's about it. So now getting into the one where I'm basically 80% sure of making that move, which is Glasner for Slot. So I'll get into the pros. Look, Palace away from this season, like as of recently, has been really good. They've unbeaten in the last 8 away matches, and they only lost, I think, 1-0 to Forest. So it's not too bad. And then they haven't considered any goals in the last 4 away games. The defense is solid. And then Fulham's record versus Palace, like they're winless at home since January 1st, 2005. Over 20 years, boys. That's actually insane. So that's something to, that actually tempts me. And then Fulham's recent home form has not been that amazing. They've lost, 4-1 to Wolves. They lost to Southampton. So they drew to Southampton and lost to United as recently. I know the Wolves game versus Fulham was a long time ago, but still they lost versus a not great team. And United, as we know, were in shambles, so we beat them as well. So that says something. They won 5 out of the last 12 games at home with 4 draws. So I guess the numbers does favour us. However, there are some cons though with Palace, is that Eze and Wharton are doubts. Without Eze, Palace are not a strong team. That is somewhat their talisman. And I'm kind of scared to go there because I feel like although Mateta is in a hot form right now and scoring goals, someone also need to service him. And I don't have confidence in other players like Kamada to provide him the good service. So I do think Eze being available, it's a stronger case for Glasner. And then lastly, the con is Fulham's current form. And there's recently, I think the last 2 games, they've beaten Forest and Newcastle, which is scary. So the recent form has been really good. They've beaten, a couple of top teams. But listen, there's always a risk comes with this type of, picks. You can look at the odds. They'll tell you there's a 20%, 28% chance for Glasgow to beat Fulham. But these odds are just odds. At the end of the day, football is not played on paper. It's played on grass, and we know this. These are just a couple of ones I just pointed out based on the, talking to my friend on X, Harry. Shout out to him, by the way. He gave me these stats. So he also mentioned about Glasner as a, table bonus before most people jumped on him. Now, is it worth it from going slot to Glasner? The short answer is yes, because I don't think you've optimized the chip. Personally, 20 points is not good enough after 2 game weeks. I feel like you want to get at least 46 to 50 points to be somewhat satisfied with the chip. So I think if you're on slot, you do optimize it and go with a table bonus, whether you go McKinnon or Glasner or whoever from these options that you have, you can see there. Or if you have an Emery, for example, I think you can keep him. Like Chelsea has not been the best form of their life, right? And Emery's home record has been insane, right? Like he has not lost to anyone but Arsenal. So Emery is a fine hold if you have him. You don't have to waste the transfer. Plus, you're up. Like if you went from Moyes to Emery, like you've already used one transfer, and you're up on the slot owners, right? Slot owners are currently chasing, so it makes sense for them to go for a table bonus. Whereas if you have to basically break your bone to go for a table bonus, you don't necessarily need to. You already have 36 points. You've already banked 2 underdogs in Moyes and in Moyes and Emery. Now you can just move to I mean, if you wanted to move to, if you had luxury transfers, maybe go to an Arteta or a banker fixture like Bournemouth, maybe even. But I feel like Chelsea are in a really bad form right now, and Villa at home are really strong. So I could just probably, if I was an Emery owner, I'd probably just keep him because I'm comfortable. If I get 9 points or 8 points, I'm winning. Like I'm getting what, like solid 45, 66 points. That's kind of a win. So I'll take that easily. But because I'm on slot, I have to chase, unfortunately. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you're chasing for table bonus. If you have luxury transfers, maybe you do. But otherwise, let me know what you guys think. Now let's move on to my game week 26 team selection. So game week 26, your boys lining up with Raya, Gabriel, Hoyson, and Trent. The defense looks really strong, except for Trent. I think pretty much all the players have good fixtures. Double Arsenal defense paid dividends last week. Let's hope and inshallah that they do well this week as well. And then you got Hoyson with the Wolves. Quite disappointed last week. They considered a dumb goal to Southampton. I hope they can keep a clean sheet this week. And Trent, City, not expecting much. I hope, there's an assist or something like that from him. And then you got Salah, Palmer, and Bima and Cliver in midfield. Salah's a tough fixture versus City on paper, but Salah loves to play City and he always scores versus them. And City just considered 3-0 to freaking Madrid. Like, I don't know what Salah's going to do to them, and he's in insane form. The guy's banging goals and assists left, right, and centre. And if Liverpool get anything, it's going to be through him. Guys like Darwin, Diaz, they're not scoring at all. So it's just going to be Salah. And then I have Palmer. What more can I say? As I said, he's been disappointing as of recently. I think he's only got 1 return in the last 4 games. I'm not too mad if you're selling him, but I just feel like it's a bad time when there's Leicester and Southampton coming up to target them. So I think he's a keep. Villa. It's a good fixture. He's going to get a lot of space. Could he be a potential captaincy shout? Only reason I'm not going there myself is because of Chelsea's form as well as Palmer. They've not been in the greatest form. But otherwise, for me, that's a legitimate shout as well. And then Mbemo, I've got a lot of flack on Twitter when I think it was Talk FPO that tweeted out saying the best captain is Mbemo. And I disagree with that. And I said I wasn't a fan. I quoted him and I said that, ultimately, when Sade starts for Brentford, Mbemo is pushed out to the wide. He does play a bit more supporting role where he's creating the chances with the likes of Wissa and Sade and playing from wide, but he doesn't get into the box as much to get those high XG shots. Even if he does get 1 or 2, that's all he's going to get in a game. So that's why I'm not too keen on that, because he's playing a supporting role and he's a bit more wide and playing somewhat a right wing back role, which he's not. I know he's a winger, he's playing as a wing position, but I just don't think he's involved enough in that attack for me to justify captain's shout. Although I understand those who are going there because it's a Leicester fixture, but you also have to consider he's also not been in the greatest form in the last few game weeks. I think he's only got 1 return, and that was a pen as well in the last 5 game weeks. So he's not in the greatest form. He's also not playing up front where he's best, playing centrally with Wissa as a double striker. He's playing wide. So these are the things, the reason why I'm not too keen on it. Also, in the reverse fixture, they scored 4 goals and he wasn't involved in any of them. It was all Sade and Wissa. So if Sade is benched, I'm tempted to go as a captain. But however, we know that considering how Shadow is playing and in his form, he scored recently as well. I don't think that will happen. So Mbeumo is potentially going to be wide again, and he's more of an assist threat rather than a goal threat. So I'm not so keen on that. And then you got Kluivert. Again, this week he's open. Anyone can be a captain. Kluivert is a potential captain's shout. He's got Wolves at home. In terms of fixture, that's a great fixture, to be honest. Wolves do love to concede goals. So maybe you can go there. But I'm just personally, the rank I'm in, I'm just playing a bit more safe. And Salah's form, it's just not worth it for me. So great fixture. Let's hope he can deliver. And then finally, moving on to my strikers. Big boy, Chris Wood, who's been destroying people every week. People keep on saying, when is he going to stop scoring? Inshallah, he does. Inshallah, he keeps on banging, goals and punishes those owners who sold him and all the haters. He's got Newcastle away. Last year, he did score a hat trick. Let's hope, he can replicate that again. And then you got Mateta, Fulham away. Tough fixture on paper, but because of his form, I do think he can maybe get something. And then Isak, Forest at home. Another captain's shout, but I rate Forest's defense. But Isak is quality, so if he wanted to go there, I understand. But personally, I wouldn't, due to the fact that Forest are a solid defense. And on the bench, I've got Fabianski, Ahmad, Nico Williams, and Greaves. Now, Ahmad is injured. I'll be doing a video next week on best Ahmad replacement. I'm not going to sell him this week because I'm selling slot and I only have one transfer. But if you're looking for an Ahmad replacement, potentially look at maybe a double Bournemouth mid. If you have a Kluivert, maybe look at Semenyo or Dango or one of them. I think Dango is short-term, Semenyo is long-term. So that's what I'll say on that. I'm not 100% sure on what I'm moving to yet. Obviously, I'll have some more funds available in the bank come game week 27, so I could decide whether to move to double Bournemouth mid or go somewhere else. I'm not 100% sure on what I'll do with Ahmad, but I know a lot of people have him, so I'll recommend maybe a Bournemouth mid. They have great fixtures coming up, and they're on blank in 29. And last but not least, assistant manager, your boy GLASNER. He is there provisionally, 100%. It's not confirmed yet. I have not pulled the trigger. I'm going to wait for the press conference tomorrow on Friday to see, what he says about Eze and then make a decision. If Eze is available, I'll most likely make that move. But I'm somewhere like 80 to 90% already there. So that's it. That's how I'm lining up. Let me know what you guys think. Team looks good, to be honest. I hope I get another green arrow, inshallah. So yeah, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.